Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Ralofamgoon is banned, allegedly, from ATL. Can you believe that after all I seen this man do, building communities, doing all that, they said Rallo is banned, and from what I see, because I've been locked up, and when I was locked up, I seen him on an airplane with all this money. They said that it was some weed and all this other stuff, and I'm like, who's this dude? He getting money, and he's outspoken. Then he went to prison, then he took his shahada, and he came home, and now he's giving back to the people, and they banned him because he said that Young Thug was wussy because of their interrogation tape. Do you think that they're capable of banning Ralofamgoon from Atlanta? Put it in the comments, man. And if you think he should or shouldn't, you know what I mean? I see him doing a lot for the community. Let's get this thing moving. All right? Man. All right, you know what it is. Unique Mecca Audio, man. Big shout out to All Urban Central. I got this from them. Ralofamgoon spoke, and I like what he spoke, and that's why, if you notice, I'm picking and choosing my videos because I'm not trying to add fuel to fire that's burning anywhere. Now, Ralofamgoon speaks on what makes you family. All right? Now, I'm going to let him say what he got to say. I'm going to cut it. Then at the end, I'm going to play the whole thing again so that y'all can hear that want to hear it straight through without my wisdom. All right? Let's keep it moving.
I don't know why y'all think that DNA or blood is what qualify you as family.
Right there. I don't know what qualify you as family because you got DNA or blood. See, that's what I'm saying. See, my family is the men and women that stand by my morals and principles, that honor what I honor. That's my family, and that's why that's so deep, that you have to understand that family is something that stick together no matter what. We could be fighting, we could be beefing, whatever is going on. But if the other one get into something, you better believe the other one is going to be there to hold them down, because that's the way family work. And then we go back to being mad at each other, right? Let me take you on a ride. Yo, me and my man wasn't talking, right? Over some bull crap, He did something stupid, whatever it was. But we wasn't talking, and it got into a little heated, discussion, and we stepped apart to, give each other our space, but we ain't messing with each other. And then I get whiffed that my man got beef, I strapped up and I went to go see my man, because we going to find out what this beef is about. We went and handled the beef. After the beef, we went back to not talking until we was ready to talk again. Because that's just how family do. Those are men that stand on my morals and principles. And this is sponsored by Cashbox. Trust me, coming real soon. I know I mentioned before, we just fine-tuning certain things. All right?
My family is those that got my best interests at heart and love me for me. I don't give a damn about that auntie, brother, sister, cousin ass shit. Look,
what y'all think about that? Do y'all care about that brother, uncle, auntie, and all that? Do y'all think that supersedes someone that's holding you down? Because I feel like give me another ride. I'm in a joint, right? You got dudes. I'm gonna speak on DC, right? I'm gonna speak on DC right now, right? Big shout out to Charleston White, first of all. Respect him to the fullest. I'm gonna do something with Charleston real soon, but Charleston White, right? He down in DC, right? So now we in a joint, and you got all these dudes that's just running amok because they grabbing the youth off the street and bringing them in, and they running wild, and they loyal to each other, they this and that. And then here it is now, a dude from another car, another state, he comes along, and every night this brother from DC will ask him for something to eat. You know what I mean? Yo, let me get a soup, homie. You know what I mean? Yo, let me get a bag of chips. Yo, let me get a candy bar. And dude gives it to him every time he comes. And they sit down, they kick it, and they all right. You know what I mean? They go to the yard together, they move around together. And then the dude from DC, homie, gets in it with him over the phone. And now his homie wants to bring him harm. And the same homie that he was feeding is the same homie that now he wants to go with his homie to go stab the brother that's been feeding him and been a friend to him. And I'm not using that to signal out DC. I'm just telling you because, you know, that's where I saw one of the incidents that popped into my mind that I wanted to share. But now, then you got men like Antoine White that'll pull them up and let them know, like, hold up, you rock with dude. I see you rock with dude. So how you gonna cross dude to roll with him before you try and squash the beef or find out what the beef is over? You didn't even ask what it's about. You just ready to get your knife and roll with the homie against a man that been feeding you, that's your friend. He said, but that's my homie. And Tone said, nah, just because he or me or anyone is from DC don't make him a homie. They got to stand on our morals and principles in order to be our homie. And I just wanted to get a round of applause to Antoine White. Wanted to give him that. You know, relax, y'all. Relax. Relax, man. Relax. Yeah, because y'all wanted the prison story, so I'm going to give you a prison story between Ralofamgoon, right? Now, we got another, you know, DC homie, right? Another DC homie, ER. You know, good brother, ER. That's my man. Every day, me and him met down in Florida, and every day we used to go to the rec yard together, and we found a nice little area that we could work out in and do our, you know, burpees and push-ups and, you know, get our little thing on, even tie the sheet across the fence to make our own pull-up bar so we ain't had to walk all the way to the other end of the field where that pull-up bar was crowded. So me and him out there every single day, right? And this my brother, right? And then now somebody, you know, from one of the cars or something said, oh man, you need so arrogant, he this and that, da 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 da, you know, and, you know, was talking negative, and my man got whiff of it, you know. So next thing I know, my man come out and his hands is all wrapped up. I said, what happened? He said, man, this dude tried to talk bad about you, so I had to knock him out. You know what I mean? See, that's what a friend do. If you hear someone talking, I'm not promoting violence. I'm just telling you how it is on the street and how it is in the penitentiary. That's why I say don't go to the penitentiary and don't get involved in the street. If you hear somebody talking about your friend, there's no way you're supposed to go back and tell your friend this one or that one was talking about them without you even shot. Somebody got to get smacked for that. Somebody got to at the very least get checked for that. Do you agree with that or not? Put it in the comments. Now, Ralofamgoon going to talk about how he had an issue with his cousin and how he feel about that. And we're going to let that play. Remember, at the end of this, I'm going to play the whole joint, but I just wanted to ride with you. That's all.
Look what y'all did to my cousin Marlo. Y'all didn't give a about him. So what the hell make you think I'ma think you care about me? And I've been whining on one of these clock chasing ass to bite the bait and come over here to prove themselves. I'ma leave you and your driver right in the middle of the street.
That's stand your ground that he's speaking on.
Then I'm gonna go straight down now to that same place Detective Jeffrey Williams was at and brag about how I smoked your stupid ass in self-defense. Think it's a game. Think it's
All right, Rallo, let me talk to you, big bro. You're doing real good down there. And man, you know, take a deep breath. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna suggest, take a deep breath. You know what I mean? And think about your moves and think about life as if it's a game of chess and what reaction is gonna come from this action. Like if you move your bishop here, what would his knight do or what would his rook do? You understand what I'm saying? Remember, life is a game of chess and you want to last. So your moves have to be calculated, well thought out, and they have to be future predicted upon what your opponent's move will be. I talked that to my son, right? Let me take another ride. I feel like riding today. I feel like I'm going to touch a few prison joints. I'm going to ride. I'm in the prison, right? I'm in Allenwood. This is in 1999. I'm in Allenwood, right? Allenwood USP, I just come out of ATX Supermax after being locked down, you know, for like 5 years. So now when I come, my son comes and visit me, right? So he must have been, what was this, 99. He was born in 84, 94. He's about 14 years old. He comes see me, and I break out the chessboard. They had games in the visiting hall. So I break out the chessboard, and I sat him down with his mother and his two sisters. They're bored to death, but this was my time I wanted to spend with my son. So I laid out all the pieces, and I showed my son how each piece moved in the game of chess and their purpose and their morals and their principles. Because I love the knight the best on the board, but, you know, once I taught him that, we started playing chess every time he started coming up, right? He was 14, and right now he's 40, you know? And he still remembers the day I taught him how to play chess in Allenwood USP. See, those are the screwed up memories I got with my child, teaching him how to play chess in a penitentiary visiting hall. What do you remember about your child? Put it in the comment, you know? So if you don't think that I got trauma, I know I have trauma. The first thing to healing is accepting, and I'm accepting that I got trauma. Right, let me take you another ride. Hold on, Rallo. Hold on, let me take you another ride, right? My daughter, my baby daughter, right? I get locked up, she's 18 months, right? When I get locked up and I go in the courtroom at MCC, and they hit me with the no bail and they taking me out handcuffed, her mother standing up holding on her arms, 18 months. And every night I used to lay down with this beautiful little girl, right? And when I walked by, she tried to jump out her mother's arms into my arms, because she always reached for me every time she see me. She's 18 months, you know how that is. And she almost fell, right? And her mother grabbed her, and my baby just started bawling because she couldn't come in my arms, and I'm handcuffed and shackled, being walked out of a courtroom, and that was the last vision I had with my baby. That was the last vision I had with my baby, was her jumping out her mother's arms to get in my arms, and I'm handcuffed and shackled and being led away towards a life plus 20 sentence. And I'm looking in my baby's eyes as the tears come down, and I'm doing everything within my being to fight back my own tears. I can't even begin to tell you what that trauma was like. That stayed with me my whole bit. It was really heavy all the way up until about 99, 2000, because I mentioned her, because then the next time I seen her, that was the last memory I had of her, right? Remember we riding? Bear with me, tell you little prison stories here. So that was the last time I seen her. Now, here she is, fast forward, she's like 31 now, and could you believe that her first memory of me, right? She shared this with me. She said, Daddy, my first memory of you is when I came to see you in that prison with all those wires and, you know, the trucks riding around with the guns, and we had to go underground, and, you know, and then we went into the sliding door after we got out the elevator, and then you came out and you was on the other side of the glass, and I got a chance to talk to you on the phone and put my hand on the glass. This is what my baby's telling me is the first memory she has of me. Because remember, the last time I saw her, she was 18 months in 92. You know? And now this is like 98. She's like, you know, 98. So she comes see me up in ATX, and that's her first memory of me. If you can't feel my pain, I don't know what to tell you. If you want to experience my pain, keep doing what you're doing to break the law. I'm telling you, it's a pain you don't want to have. I'm looking at a grown woman knowing that the first time she ever remembered seeing me was in the worst prison in the United States of America. And you want that for your child? Do you know what it's like for me to try and sleep at night? do you know what it's like for me to try and sleep at night? Yo, come on, dog. Let me get back to Ralofamgoon, man.
Internet gang, and I'm a Gucci man, one of y'all. But the difference is, I pay for the funeral.
You know I like to talk. You know I like to talk. I feel like riding. This a riding. This a riding holiday, right? This a riding holiday. Yo, you know, just like, you know, mob style with AZ, Pretty Tone, Gangsta Lou, you know, Whip Wop. They made a joint, and one of them, I don't remember who it was, they said that, you know, I murder you and then I go to, you know, your funeral and kiss you, miss your mama, you know, hug your mama and tell her, I missed you. Now, how much more heartless can you get? You talking about taking someone's life, going to the funeral, kissing them, telling them you miss them, and hugging his mama and telling her you miss her baby even more. And you're the one that took her baby's life. Welcome to the hood. Welcome to the streets. Sit back and watch the foolishness on YouTube, but don't get involved in the foolishness. Rap about it, make money from it, monetize off of it. But don't try and enter it or live it out. Because the first person that we seen do that during our time was Tupac. And that was my personal friend. And I remember when Tupac first came to Harlem with Mo Grime and we was on 25th and all that. Tupac's just a good dude, a funny, good dude, you know, and that's all he was. Everything else is what they created, and he got caught up in the image. And he had a heart like a lion, but he was a good dude. I know other good dudes with heart of a lion. They take Chalucci. Chalucci is the one that's the spokesperson for Diddy right now. I remember when Chalucci first came to Harlem. He went downtown, then he came up to 49th Street. And then I met him up over there, and I seen him and the way he carried himself. And from talking to him, I knew that he wasn't, you know, he wasn't an average street dude that had no future. From talking to him, I knew that he had knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. He asked me to give him a pack. That means drugs to sell. I said, nah, family, never would I do that. I see where you going. You already on the course. I said, I tell you what, you come see me every week at the Mecca, and I'm going to make sure you all right. And that's your pay. He said, nah, but I want to do something to earn it. I said, you are doing something to earn it. You're making me proud. This is Chalucci, the one that's getting ready to be the spokesperson, and he'll tell you this same story. You know, and I used to make sure he had money for his haircut, get an outfit and all that, you know, because he's a teenager, he's a kid, right? When he wants to hustle, and I don't need, because he was nice with his hands. He could have won in professional boxing. He was nice with his hands. Yo, his gifted gab is good, and he's out of Brooklyn, you know, and I met him in Harlem, and I started in Brooklyn, and then came up to the Bronx, Harlem, and moved around. So, you know, we was like-minded in that, and I could see, you know, the Brooklyn, you know, toughness in him, and I could see the Harlem relaxed swag in him, you know, and I could see the wisdom and understanding in the words that are coming out of his mouth, you know. So one day, I'm on cause we riding around. One day I'm on 49th Street. That's 149th Street. Anything past 110th Street, if you're from Harlem, you just say, you know, the numbers. You don't go to 149th. I say 49th Street, or you know, I was up on 54th Street. That means 154th. And Harlem, no, that's 154th, not way down at 54th Street. Right? So Chalucci was. I'm standing up on the corner right on 49th Street. I was talking to Booth and T-Rod, and I look across the street, and I see Chalucci over there, right? I'm even gonna say the name, right? I seen Chalucci across the street talking to Preacher. You know, y'all know Preacher. Everybody been waiting on the Preacher story, but you know, I left it alone. But I got to give this because this fall in line with Chalucci. Chalucci was over there talking to Preacher across the street, and I'm standing up with Boo T-Rod and all of them, and I'm looking at him, and I'm giving him a look like I knew he's not. Because this a dude that I told stay out the street, so I wouldn't give him the pack. I only gave him a couple of dollars, you know, a couple of hundred, maybe $500 a week for him to do what he needed to do. And he wanted more. He wanted to get his own, you know, as any man would. But I see him talking to Preacher across the street, right? So I come over there and I said, yo, let me holler at you, right? I said, yo, you know, and I got on him about that, you know, and stopped him from going down that line. But, you know, let's get back to Rallo, man. I just felt like riding on this Monday, man.
And beg the family to have a candlelight over here. And that's what type of...
Now, this is what Rallo Fam God had to say. This shit ain't business, this shit personal. So I don't give a F who don't like it. I said he was wussy, and I'm standing on it. Y'all just fans. Y'all don't know he ain't put in no work in these streets. All them snake ass did was turn everybody against each other, right? Y'all can call it Ratlanta, but we know the real Atlanta. All right? Now, that's what I'm saying, you know. I know a lot of good men from down in Atlanta, so, you know, that's crazy, but this is a different generation. We was gone for decades, so all this is different, you know? All right, so we gonna play this out. See what Rallo got to say right here, man, because I like the way he's speaking.
How the hell is you my friend when every time I hear about you, I hear you talking bad about me?
Every time.
Anytime you feel like you got the ups on me, you try to go up on me. No, sir. No, ma'am. You're not a friend. You're worse than an op. You're worse than an enemy. You're a hypocrite. If you with somebody and they talking bad about me, and you don't change the subject or walk away from them, and you're of those that's talking bad about me, that ain't cool. You're not a friend. You're an op. You're worse than an enemy. You're a hypocrite.
Hey, what's
Yo, so that's where we at, man. So, you know, don't mind me. I'm over here riding, man. You know, rest in peace to King Von, you know.
I don't know why. Y'all.
Right, so that's where we at, right? What do y'all think about this? Put in the comments and make sure you subscribe at my daughter's YouTube channel. Can't forget that, you know what I mean? At Juanita Mecca Audio. And if you want to hear more prison stories, go to Unique Mecca Audio Prison Stories and go through the playlist. I got all kinds of stories over there, but I just felt like just sharing those little personal things so you understand that it's not worth it to be out here doing that and running wild on the streets because, man, God don't like ugly, man. And karma is a bitch. All right.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Hello?
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Real. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, make an audio.